Is my significant other, 31M, and I, 32F, incompatible or just culturally different? My significant other, 31M Caucasian American, and I, 32F Asian American, have been dating for about 6 months, and this is my first serious relationship with a Caucasian man. I feel like there's a lack of attentiveness, nurturing, and it's making me feel frustrated. He says he will do certain things for me and they don't really happen. For example, when I had minor inconveniences like my car key battery dying or windshield wiper fluid going out sometime in February, he said he will replace them but he never did. Or when I had safety issues in November, I bought a security system he recommended but he still hasn't helped me set it up yet. When I received some devastating news and cried in front of him, he didn't comfort me and just sat there beside me. This past weekend is what really makes me question things. I went on a weekend trip with him and another couple, his friends from college, and I felt like I was a fourth wheel and so out of place because the three of them would talk about things that happened before me or people from their lives I don't know. The three of them would even walk together while I walked behind them, or when I was in front, they'd walk another direction without telling me. We even went to a packed comedy show at a stadium, and when my significant other and I went to the bathroom together, he didn't wait for me and went to sit with his friends. I brought these up to him and he was apologetic and seemed like he didn't realize he was doing these, but it still really bothers me. We're already at the I love you phase and he tells me that multiple times a day, but I'm wondering if we're actually not compatible or if I need to be patient because of the cultural differences and my expectations are too high. That's not a Caucasian thing. That's a he's not as good partner thing. Find a partner that actually shows up for you. Signed, a Caucasian man. Sounds like a dick, to be honest. I don't think cultural differences have anything to do with this. He's just not a good boyfriend, hun. Definitely has nothing to do with cultures or race. You just need to find someone who truly cares about you. Smiling face. This is just a man with no empathy or follow through. I think you can find people like this in every race, religion, and location. I'm a white man who replaces batteries, adds washer fluid, changes oil, opens doors, and holds my wife when she cries because my dad taught me to take care of the people I love. So, not cultural differences, he's just a loser with no follow through. How'd I, 21F, tell my boyfriend, 21M, I want a vibrator? I'm 20F mistyped in title IDK how to change, in a long distance relationship with my boyfriend, 21M. When we have sex I don't finish very often, maybe 0.5% of the time. He's the only person I've had sex with, but I think it's a mental problem for me rather than anything he's doing, not doing, since he puts in a lot of effort. I am interested in getting a vibrator since it's been a long time since I've finished, with the combination of being long distance and not finishing much in general. But he is pretty insecure about the fact that I don't finish very much, so I'm not sure how to bring it without hurting his feelings. Edit. Thanks for so many replies so fast. For more context, we are long distance, mentioned, but I think some people missed that, so I wouldn't want to feel like I'm hiding anything by using it since he wouldn't know. He also is very understanding in general. I feel like everyone is assuming the worst of him. I don't think he will say no, but he is a bit insecure about me not getting off that often and I don't want to make that worse. I also don't masturbate on my own because it's never felt good, and I don't really get into the mood on my own. It's more out of curiosity, if that makes sense. You're allowed to masturbate and don't need to ask for permission. If you want one as a gift from him, you'd want to say, what I want for my birthday, our anniversary, this Friday is a vibrator. If you don't need it from him, you buy one. If you want to use the vibrator as part of sex with him, you say, here, let's use this. If his feelings are hurt by you wanting to come, he's not someone you should be having sex with. You don't have to ask him for permission? You're not cheating, and if his ego is so fragile that he's threatened by some batteries, you've got bigger problems. You buy a vibrator and suggest using it as a fun new thing. If he's not interested in your satisfaction, you break up. If he's insecure that you don't finish much, I would hope he would be down for the idea that a toy would help you. If he isn't, and is weird about it, I would be reconsidering the relationship, to be totally honest. It's your body and you should be able to use whatever you want to help you finish. You shouldn't even be worried that a toy will hurt his feelings. Lol, he's a grown man. Don't ask him for permission. Just get one, and then tell him you'd like to try using it during sex to see if it helps you finish more often. You don't have to babysit his feelings. If he's insecure about it, tell him there are lots of women who can't finish without a vibrator, and it's just a biological wiring thing. If he wants you to come, he'll work with you. If he wants to have a big ego about being good at sex without needing help or whatever, then he's probably not a good fit for you. How can I avoid resentment that arises due to rehoming pets? 26M, me, 25F. Throwaway account made for this post. I have had my cats for 4 years, and one of them, we'll call him Glenn, age 8, was the only living thing I had to lean on when I moved across the country a few years ago. I then got a second cat a couple months after that move so Glenn could have company. We'll call cat number 2 Gary, age 6. Shortly thereafter, my now fiancé entered my life and we have lived together most of the time we've known each other. My fiancé has had cat allergies all of her life, but it was never so severe that the discussion of rehoming the cats had ever come up, even early on. I certainly wasn't going to suggest it, and she never asked me to consider it because she knew how important the cats were to me. Flash forward to today and her allergies have only gotten worse, dozens of tissues around the house, itchy nose and eyes with frequency, sometimes bad skin flare-ups that make sleep unbearable, asthmatic symptoms that are worse than they used to be. We've tried everything: Live Clear cat food, Live Clear shampoo, Allegra, air purifier, cleaning couch covers, sweeping, mopping regularly, pathogen spray, no cats in the bedroom, immunotherapy. None of it has worked enough to significantly reduce my fiancé's allergies, which I know hurts her too because of how she has grown to love the cats over the past 3 years. We tiptoed around the rehoming conversation until it very recently came to the forefront, creating a lot of hurt emotions on both sides. I am about to move cross-country again in the next few months for a PhD program in a state I've never lived in, but my fiancé will not be moving until about 6 months after that. This means that I will be in this transition period alone for a while. I wanted to see if moving to a new environment with Gary and Glenn would help, i.e., new climate, retry Live Clear before moving. But my fiancé is done trying, which I can understand when this has been a nearly 3-year process of trying things out. This is likely the hardest thing I will have to do in the past 10 years, and right as I am transitioning into a very mentally and time-demanding part of my life for the next 5-6 years. That was part of my motivation to bring Glenn and Gary with me. To see if this last-ditch effort worked, to have them while I'm alone in a new city, and to potentially rehome them close by so I could visit. But I realized that if we end up having to rehome them in this new city, then they'll have to go through the stress of moving and rehoming within a relatively short period of time. And that seems unnecessary when we have a friend who has offered to take them in the city we live now. So rehoming them now makes the most sense for almost everyone involved, even if it means I may never get to pet them and hold them again. I am not asking for other cat allergen solutions. I'm also not asking if I should choose my cats or my future wife. I will probably ignore comments that say something to the effect of, time to rehome the fiancé. What I am asking for is advice on how to process this without harboring resentment. I've come to accept that choosing to keep the cats will inevitably create more tension over time as my fiancé continues to have allergic reactions that remind her of the feeling that her health came second. I love my 2 boys very much, but I don't want them to live in an environment where they can rarely be on the couch with us, and where one half of the household feels regularly uncomfortable just by their existence. But as I transition into this new chapter of my life that will be rife with its own difficulties, I don't want one of those difficulties to be this unaddressed resentment towards somebody that I love with my whole heart, and who tried very hard to make living with the cats work. I don't want to constantly wonder, what if we tried XYZ, or get upset if allergy flare-ups continue to happen even with the cats gone. I want to make this difficult decision, process it as best as I can before I move, and move on in a way that allows my future marriage to grow from this. Thanks. As a person who worked at an animal shelter, you have put so much into keeping those cats. Put even half of that energy into finding them a new home and they will be fine. I'm sorry, but you have elderly cats, there is no way to avoid stress from changing. I feel like rehoming your pets because of a partner will come with resentment towards them no matter what. Of course she has a point and tried a lot of things to overcome her cat allergy, but in the end, she is still the reason you have to give up your cats, which you obviously don't want to do. IDK, it's a heavy situation and honestly, I would not be able to give up my dog for a partner. Adopting him for me came with the decision to take care of him to the best of my abilities until the day he will sadly leave this earth. A partner won't revoke that decision. Why did she move in with you so fast when she knew she was allergic to cats? This is gonna be an unpopular opinion, but I wouldn't rehome my cats. I've had relationships come and go. It's basically a gamble that you stay together for any length of time. But cats are forever pets. I would feel fucking awful if I rehomed my babies and the relationship didn't work out. I have no advice, but as someone with cat allergies who lives cats, I'm incredibly sorry for your and your partner's situation. You've tried everything. I'm allergic to cats and I have a dog. I deliberately won't date anyone who has cats or who has a dog allergy to avoid this scenario. That being said, I could not remove my dog for any reason. I'm his whole world. If that happened, I would always resent the person who made it happen. I'm so sorry this has happened to you. Mom, 57F, wants me, 34F, to plan her trip to visit me when I'm 8 months pregnant. My mom invited herself to visit when I will be 8 months pregnant, which I am already not thrilled about. But having accepted that it would hurt her feelings if I said no, what I really don't want to do is be a tour guide. Since I am peeing and napping a lot at this point, I spend most of my time working from home or sitting on the couch and pretty much only go out occasionally to eat or sit on the couch at a friend's house. As such, I am not in the loop of local events or touristy things, and don't have much desire to do anything out of my routine. When I asked Mom what she wants to do while she's here, she said, nothing in particular, and that it was up to me. I shared one thing I'd already been planning to do on my own, but said it would be helpful to get a sense of what she's interested in, hoping she'd take the hint and plan some stuff as a starting point. She's only made one suggestion so far, saying she wasn't sure where it was located. It took me literally 10 seconds to look it up and find out that it's 2.5 hours away, so of course I vetoed that idea, but it irritated me that she couldn't do that herself. It's especially annoying given that she barely has a job right now, while I'm still working my regular schedule on top of all the doctor appointments and prep my wife and I are doing prior for mat leave. I'm wondering if I should just bite the bullet and plan stuff myself, or allow her to arrive with no plan if she doesn't take the initiative. I'm worried that the latter will result in too much dead time in which she can bring up conspiracy theories and alternative medicine, or want to bond, none of which I'm comfortable with. I also know that my history with her is making me stubborn and I don't want to make my own life harder out of spite. What's the better option here? Why can't you stick up for yourself and say it's a bad time considering how pregnant you are? If you're looking for a way to say it, you could say, I was trying to make a plan for things we can do, but the more I planned, the more I'm seeing it may not be a good time for you to visit considering how far along I am. I think it would be best to hold off until after the baby is born because then we could plan around you coming to see them. Honestly, Mom, the only thing I'm going to want to do is nap and prep for the baby. If that's okay with you, or you're willing to keep yourself entertained, great. If not, let's postpone until baby's here and I'm recovered. You really need to practice saying no, though. It's an important skill both for dealing with stubborn little kids and extended family who either don't realize what they're asking of you or don't care. No, you shouldn't bite the bullet and vacation with your mom. You should adult and tell her that you're busy gestating a human and it'll be another year before you're up for travel. If she comes, she should bring rubber gloves so she doesn't get dishpan hands while doing all the cooking and cleaning as you finish growing humans. My mother does things like this and it's so irritating. When it's my son's birthday, will you order him some balloons for me? Booking a flight, will you book my flight for me? All of my bedrooms are upstairs and my mother asked me to rent a bed for her so she could stay downstairs in my living room when she came to visit. No ma'am. I have a difficult relationship with my mom too, so I get it. Being pregnant and tolerating her are going to really stress you out. You just need to tell her no. If she gets mad, she gets mad. When you said your mom was planning to visit when you're 8 months pregnant, I presumed this was to help you make final preparations for your baby's arrival and to support you in the final weeks of your pregnancy, not to be her BLDY tour guide. Exploding head. Just tell her she's welcome to visit for your child's first birthday, as by then you may have the energy to go on 1 or 2 excursions with her. Face with hand over mouth. Take the opportunity to practice healthy boundaries with your mother now. It's fine if you haven't perfected the art of doing so until now, but if this is any indicator of what your mother is usually like, you will without a doubt need the practice for after your child is born. Your mother has invited herself, so leave it to her to find ways to entertain herself too. State your expected limitations clearly, i.e. that you won't be able to go out much and also won't have the energy to be her sole entertainment for the duration of her stay, and then send her a link to your area's upcoming events and encourage her to go crazy with those events by herself. It's as simple as that.